Welcome to Reality 33 TV. Teena Marie was born Mary Christine Brockert in Santa Monica, California. She grew up dancing and singing at home with her parents and siblings. Her parents played soul singers like Ella Fitzgerald and Sarah Vaughan around the house. At the age of 2, she began singing and continued to sing in local talent shows. She also tried acting and landed a role in the show The Beverly Hillbillies. At the age of 9, her family moved to Venice Beach, California, which was home to a community called Oakwood, a well-established black neighborhood, and Teena fit right in. She taught herself how to play soul music on the piano, and at age 12 formed a band with her cousin and brother. By the time she was in high school, she formed another band with her friend Mickey Boyce and began making trips to shop a demo to different record companies in Hollywood. She would take 4 buses to get there with her guitar strapped to her back. She eventually met Hal Davis from Motown, who took her to Berry Gordy along with her group. But Berry only wanted Teena and signed her as a solo act. Teena worked with several producers for 2 years but had no singles released. Her manager decided to add her to a boy band called Apollo, which included 2 of Gordy's sons and Benny Medina, who was 17 at the time. The boys would make up crass lyrics for Teena to sing, and one day she left the studio and called her manager to get her out of the group. Motown decided they needed something to break Teena into the business, so they called on their artist Rick James. In the beginning, Rick was not interested and was supposed to produce for Diana Ross, but later he said he would do something with, quote, the little white girl. He began sending Teena songs and she recorded her debut album, Wild and Peaceful. Berry Gordy decided not to put Teena's face on the cover. The single I'm a Sucker for Your Love, featuring Rick James, hit number 8 on the R&B singles charts. Many radio DJs assumed Teena was black based on her voice, but were proven wrong when she made her debut appearance on Soul Train in 1979 with Rick James, becoming the show's first white female guest. Her second album, Lady T, a nickname given to her by James, featured her portrait on the cover, and is also noted for having production from Richard Rudolph, the widower of R&B singer Minnie Riperton. Teena Marie had asked Berry Gordy to contact Rudolph and secure his input as Rick James was unavailable. And at the time, she felt unprepared to be sole producer of her own material. Rudolph had intended for a song he wrote, Now That I Have You, for his wife Minnie, but offered it to Teena for Lady T. Rudolph also composed the single Behind the Groove, which reached number 21 on the R&B singles chart and number 6 on the UK singles chart in 1980. That same year, Teena released her third LP, Irons in the Fire, for which she handled most of the writing and production herself, an achievement considered rare at the time for a female artist. The single I Need Your Lovin' hit number 9 on the R&B singles and number 37 on the pop charts. The LP was her first to reach the R&B top 10. That same year, Teena appeared on James's album Street Songs with the duet Fire and Desire. In an interview, Teena Marie said she had a fever at the time, yet managed to record her vocals in one take. After the session, she was driven to the hospital. Teena and James continued to work together in the studio, and their friendship eventually blossomed into a romantic relationship along with a brief engagement. Teena Marie continued her success with Motown in 1981 with the release of It Must Be Magic, which went number 2 on the R&B albums chart and was her first gold record. It included her then biggest hit on R&B, Square Biz, which went number 3. And she raps on the song as well. Other notable tracks included Portuguese Love, featuring a brief cameo by Rick James, which was uncredited, and the title track It Must Be Magic, which went number 30 on the R&B singles. Teena and Rick went on the street tour together based on both of their successes. Though Teena had broken up with Rick on day 1 of the tour, the fans still anticipated the chemistry of their performance of Fire and Desire, which sometimes led to fights on stage between the two. Teena said in her TVOne Unsung, she did not want to be one of the many girls, and Rick did not want to accept that. She also said she felt he took advantage of her financially by using her name in order to get extra money from promoters on shows she was not scheduled to appear on. In 1982, Teena Marie got into a heated legal battle with Motown Records over her contract and disagreements about releasing her new material. Teena signed with Epic Records, and Motown sued her for breach of contract, and she countersued them. The lawsuit resulted in the Brockert Initiative, which made it illegal for a record company to keep an artist under contract without releasing new material for that artist. In such instances, artists are able to sign and release with another label instead of being held back by an unsupportive one. Teena Marie commented on the law in an LA Times article saying, "It wasn't something I set out to do. I just wanted to get away from Motown and have a good life. But it helped a lot of people, like Luther Vandross and the Mary Jane Girls, and a lot of different artists, to be able to get out of their contract." She left Motown as the label's most successful white solo act. Epic released the concept album Robbery, which featured the hit Fix It, as well as Shadowboxing and Casanova Brown. The latter was one of many tracks Teena would write over the years about her real-life romance with her one-time mentor Rick James. In 1984, Teena released her biggest-selling album, Star Child. It yielded her biggest hit, Lover Girl, which peaked at number 4 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 chart in 1985. And number 9 on the R&B chart. Lover Girl was included in the 2002 Jennifer Lopez movie Made in Manhattan. The label also released the moderate R&B hit Out on a Limb, which peaked at number 56 on the R&B chart, but did not break the Hot 100. 14K was featured on the soundtrack of the film The Goonies. In 1986, Teena released a rock music-influenced concept album titled Emerald City. She also recorded the rock-influenced track Lead Me On for the soundtrack of the hit film Top Gun in 1986. In 1988, she returned to R&B and funk, releasing the critically acclaimed album Naked to the World. That album contained the hit Ooh La La La, which reached number 1 on the Billboard's Hot R&B Hip-Hop Singles Tracks chart, and was later sampled by the Fugees. Teena Marie released Ivory in the fall of 1990, and it scored no pop hits, but it did experience 2 R&B hits, Here's Looking at You, number 11, and If I Were a Belle, number 8. Teena admitted despite making more money at Epic, she never felt supported like she did from Berry Gordy at Motown, and their relationship remained strong. Ultimately, Teena was never fully accepted as a pop artist, mainly due to her soulful voice, and the style of music she loved the most was soul and R&B. She left Epic in 1990 after getting pregnant and deciding she wanted to be hands-on with her daughter. She created her own label in 1994 and released Passion Play, but without major label backing, the project failed to gain attention. Teena admitted her money began to dwindle, and she got to a place where she had to sell 2 of her guitars to afford Christmas presents for her daughter and goddaughter. After a 10-year hiatus, Teena returned to music and signed a deal with Cash Money Records. She released her 11th album, La Donna, in 2004. The album became a gold-certified success and the highest charting album of her career, peaking at number 6 on the Billboard 200 chart. On the basis of the Al Green sampled I'm Still in Love and a duet with Joe Levert, A Rose by Any Other Name. During Teena's success at this time, she was also being a support system for her friend Rick James, whose health was declining due to his on and off battle with drugs. She says it was a struggle watching his personality change, but she did help him get better, and they reunited on stage for the 2004 BET Awards, where they performed their classic Fire and Desire. 2 months later, Rick James would pass away from an apparent heart attack. Teena said he was, quote, her musical soulmate. In 2006, she released the album Sapphire. It peaked at number 24 on the Billboard 200 chart, yielding another top 40 R&B hit with Ooh Wee. Sapphire also reunited Teena with Smokey Robinson on the songs God Created and Cruise Control. He was one of her musical idols. Teena parted ways with Cash Money Records after the release of Sapphire. She released Congo Square in 2009. She described the album as personal and spiritual, and indicated that it was more jazz-influenced than most of her previous work. It featured a duet with Faith Evans called Can't Last a Day. The album reached the top 20 on Billboard's Top 200, giving Teena another top 10 R&B chart entry. In 2010, Teena continued to be a headliner on the Las Vegas Strip, appearing regularly at the Las Vegas Hilton and other venues. In December of that year, she died of natural causes. She was 54 years old. A month prior to her passing, she had suffered a seizure. Her seizures were a result of a large picture frame falling on her head in 2004 while sleeping in a hotel room. At the time of her passing, she was in the process of completing her 14th album, Beautiful. It was finished posthumously by her daughter, Aaliyah Rose, and released in 2013. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more.